How many athletes have you ever heard? Right at the ready time, right at the ready time. In the Olympics, I can't even watch him anymore because, you know, this Olympian, she's been trying for 14 years. She's been training and training and training, training and training and training and training for 14 years. And then they take you back through her life history, you know, and, you know, they run 5 commercials. So you're just like, oh my God, I hope she wins. I hope she wins. I hope she wins. And she's running down the track and she trips over somebody else and falls on the track. And she is down on the track, just beating the track. She's mad. She's going like this. What did she need more than she needed that gold medal? Mbappe! I don't even want to watch the Olympics anymore because there's so many of those stories. And she is down on the track, just beating the track. She's mad. She's going like this. What did she need more than she needed that gold medal? Mbappe! I don't even want to watch the Olympics anymore because there's so many of those stories. You know, this is a true story. She fell. She'd been training forever, and there was one thing that happened in one Olympic, and she fell, and I swear to God, she could have got up pissed. And that's a good use of anger, because a strong use of anger is called determination. And that would have injected more energy into her system in that moment. She would have been pulling energy out of the angels. And she would have, like, nobody trips me when I'm going for my gold medal. Wow! And she could have gotten to the gold medal. Because she only lost a couple of strides. She bounced and could have bounced right back up. She didn't break anything. She didn't hurt anything. She just got needing some sympathy. And there's like 120,000 people in the stands, 1 billion people watching on TV. How much sympathy did she get in that moment, man? Oh, that was a payload. That was like a lifetime supply of Snickers. You never run out. How many in here have a preference? How many in here have something in their life that they actually want to achieve, want to be? Raise your hand, say I. How many people are there exactly at that, what they want, at that, what they strive for, right here, right now? In total reality, I'm asking for no comments, right? So, in other words, you've got a presence? No. That's fiction. You've got a presence, which is what you are. You've got a preference, which is what you are to ultimately be. The last breath of your life. And you got the difference. What is the most rewarding place to live between here and then? Presence, correct? And when you live in the presence, when you live in the presence, the preference runs towards you. Yogi Bhajan said, and she is down on the track, just beating the track. She's mad. She's going like this. What did she need more than she needed that gold medal? Mbappe! I don't even want to watch the Olympics anymore because there's so many of those stories. You know, this is a true story. She fell. She'd been training forever, and there was one thing that happened in one Olympic, and she fell, and I swear to God, she could have got up pissed. And that's a good use of anger, because a strong use of anger is called determination. And that would have injected more energy into her system in that moment. She would have been pulling energy out of the angels. And she would have, like, nobody trips me when I'm going for my gold medal. Wow! And she could have gotten to the gold medal. Because she only lost a couple of strides. She bounced and could have bounced right back up. She didn't break anything. She didn't hurt anything. She just got needing some sympathy. And there's like 120,000 people in the stands, 1 billion people watching on TV. How much sympathy did she get in that moment, man? Oh, that was a payload. That was like a lifetime supply of Snickers. You never run out. How many in here have a preference? How many in here have something in their life that they actually want to achieve, want to be? Raise your hand, say I. How many people are there exactly at that, what they want, at that, what they strive for, right here, right now? I mean, in total reality, I'm asking for no comments, right? So, in other words, you've got a presence, no. That's fiction. You've got a presence, which is what you are. You've got a preference, which is what you are to ultimately be. The last breath of your life. And you got the difference. What is the most rewarding place to live between here and then? Presence, correct? And when you live in the presence, when you live in the presence, the preference runs towards you. Yogi Bhajan said, take a small step towards the infinity, and the infinity will run light years to meet you. And she is down on the track, just beating the track. She's mad. She's going like this. What did she need more than she needed that gold medal? Zimbabwe! I don't even want to watch the Olympics anymore because there's so many of those stories. You know, this is a true story. She fell. She'd been training forever, and there was one thing that happened in one Olympic, and she fell, and I swear to God, she could have got up pissed. And that's a good use of anger, because a strong use of anger is called determination. And that would have injected more energy into her system in that moment. She would have been pulling energy out of the angels. And she would have, like, nobody trips me when I'm going for my gold medal. Wow! And she could have gotten to the gold medal. Because she only lost a couple of strides. She bounced and could have bounced right back up. She didn't break anything. She didn't hurt anything. She just got needing some sympathy. And there's like 120,000 people in the stands, 1 billion people watching on TV. How much sympathy did she get in that moment, man? Oh, that was a payload. That was like a lifetime supply of Snickers. You never run out. How many in here have a preference? How many in here have something in their life that they actually want to achieve, want to be? Raise your hand, say I. How many people are there exactly at that, what they want, at that, what they strive for, right here, right now? I mean, in total reality, I'm asking for no comments, right? So, in other words, you've got a presence, no. That's fiction. You've got a presence, which is what you are. You've got a preference, which is what you are to ultimately be. The last breath of your life. And you got the difference. What is the most rewarding place to live between here and then? Presence, correct? And when you live in the presence, when you live in the presence, the preference runs towards you. Yogi Bhajan said, take a small step towards the infinity, and the infinity will run light years to meet you. Did you hear him yelling at us last night? Huh? Did you hear him yelling at us? Was that a good metaphor? You need water? Just stick your mouth on the ground and suck. No pump, no shaft. Just stick your face on the ground and suck. So the water is God, right? And the pump and the shaft and all of that is the Guru. Whatever the Guru is to you, whatever the system is to you, you cannot just stick your face on the ground and suck. You know what that's called, and it's quite funny. Almost. That's a sucker. I'm standing up. The Kriya that we're going to do is one that allows us to see things from inverted angles. And there's an inversion known as the Sant Subai, the warrior and the sage, Midi and Pity, the warrior and the sage. And they coexist within us because everything exists in its polarity. So you start out like this, inhale, exhale, now bound into triangle, inhale into triangle, exhale back, just bound. You'll get into it as soon as your momentum gets going. Back here, exhale, then you inhale again, exhale, bound into triangle, bound back, inhale up, exhale down, bound into triangle, bound back, continue, continue. You're aligning. When you bound, let your feet land the same time. You're aligning your hips, your ankles, your knees. You're opening up your sternum, your shoulders. When you bend back, make sure you put the pressure at the base of the skull. Bend back, put pressure at the base of the skull. That reticular formation. You inhale when you come up, exhale, bow down, inhale into triangle, exhale when you're down again, inhale up, exhale down, and breathing through your nose. Experience the equality between the right and left sides of your body. Experience your feet, your ankles, your lower legs, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your pelvis, your abdomen, your diaphragm, your spine, your rib cage, your shoulders, your neck, the back and base of your skull. Get into it, stretch into it. You can't get anything out of it that you don't invest into it. If you invest I'm tired into it, you're going to get I'm tired out of it. Go at the pace that works for you. This is not an Olympic event. This is just an event of your consciousness. Can everyone just stand for a moment, eyes closed? Experience the sensation in your body. You want to get to a balance point. You want to get the body into a balance. That's why we're working it in this way, so that it feeds that equality throughout all of our components, all of our physical components. So the body is very intelligent, very wise. Let it. Arms dangling by the side. Let it just balance itself. We're going to continue on. We have one question here. We're going to continue on. So you're going to go through another set of these. We're going to build it through 31 minutes. We'll take another couple of breaks along the way just to get the body to... See, the body is figuring out what you're doing with it. So now its wisdom is taking effect. And it's moving for you. Okay, so go into it again. Yeah, you can jump back. You can bend your knees and bend your elbows. You can also step forward, 1 foot at a time. You're going to do it to the best of your ability, the way you can do it. Try when you set yourself down, try to have your feet parallel to each other. When you jump back, try to have your feet aligned parallel to each other. We're not playing basketball here, so you really can focus on your feet. Playing basketball, you're focused on the ball, and the feet are all over the place. That's why basketball players get silly injuries. Yeah, that's the nature of an unconscious world, paying that kind of capital to. But that's part of life. Capital is infinite, so we can stretch that. They don't take it away from us. But it is what it is. It is silly, I know. When you do either step or land on your feet, try to keep the pressure equal right and left side. You want to balance out your body. A great test is to get 2 scales that are identical to each other, and then stand on the 2 scales as you naturally do. And you will see which side of your body puts more weight on the earth. And that's an imbalance, because the scales normally do not read the same. Add the 2 scales together and you get your full weight. You want to get so that you are equal on both sides of your body. You're doing really, really well. I will say that of all the classes that I have taught this Kriya through, you're doing collectively the best. We're balancing the direction of the feet, the momentum of the ankles, the standards in the lower legs, the balance of the knees, the motivation and the intention of the thighs, the connection of the hips, the concept of the pelvis, the emotions of the abdomen, the akasha of the diaphragm, the prana of the chest, the heart and the lungs. Gravity, levity of the shoulders. Now just come standing. Let your arms drop by your sides. And once again, just let the body stabilize and equalize. Trying to argue with that stable, balanced, will be all of the little components that are asking for sympathy. Don't scold them, don't reject them. Just embrace them and dissolve them. Embrace and dissolve all the little requests for sympathy. They're not bad things. They're just not going to take you where you're headed. Experience the stellar nature of your physical instrument. Experience the stellar nature, no matter what that feels like. Dig down through the sympathy. Dig down through all the imagery. Find that stellar nature. Last round. Come into the movements again. Last round. Last few minutes. Remember, we're not here to prove, we're here to improve. So what we do, we feel good about. What we do, we feel excellent about. You're doing beautiful. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Hari Singh, can you get the gong? My apology. Last 30 seconds. Really, whatever movements you're making now, make sure you're in a good balance. Feel a good balance. Experience a good balance. There's no rush. I'll just let you set. Now finish and come standing up. And now stand there and don't even internally ask for any sympathy. Don't just embrace whatever exhaustion there might be. Don't make a big deal of it. Just embrace it, bring it in, dissolve it. Just stand there. I am who I am. That's it. I am who I am. That is that. Now set up your mat, your sheepskin, whatever you use, and lie down flat on your back. Set yourself very comfortably. Just listen to the Dalai Lama's chanting. Relax your ankles. You've probably got a lot of critical emotion coming out of you right now because it has to vacate. It has to evacuate the system. Because all you are now is a guarantee. You're just a guarantee of your preference. You're just a guarantee of your preference. You're loading up your trust account, your faith account. You face every moment as an equal. Your lower legs really well defined, balance between the tibia and the fibula. The purpose of your existence and the relationship with all of those mirroring existences. Your knees very much in a balanced state or getting there. Your thighs, right there, you've been using them in this Kriya, right there to serve you. It's that person that I spoke of yesterday. When you have a desire, it says, whatever your desire is, I'm here to make it happen. That's your right thigh, your motivation. Your left thigh is to define what it is that is, your intention. Relax your ankles. You've probably got a lot of critical emotion coming out of you right now because it has to vacate. It has to evacuate the system. Because all you are now is a guarantee. You're just a guarantee of your preference. You're just a guarantee of your preference. You're loading up your trust account, your faith account. You face every moment as an equal. Your lower legs really well defined, balance between the tibia and the fibula. The purpose of your existence and the relationship with all of those mirroring existences. Your knees very much in a balanced state or getting there. Your thighs, right there, you've been using them in this Kriya, right there to serve you. It's that person that I spoke of yesterday. When you have a desire, it says, whatever your desire is, I'm here to make it happen. That's your right thigh, your motivation. Your left thigh is to define what it is that is, your intention. Your hips, the balance between your intention, your motivation, and your purpose concept of life. Experience your abdomen. It's really glad that you're paying attention to the pelvis, because it has to sit in that pelvic bowl. Every step you take in life, it has to sit in that pelvic bowl. It's so grateful. Your emotions are grateful that you're paying attention. Your diaphragm. Connection to the Akasha. Literally, a connection to the film of your life, past, present, future. You want to rewrite the story of your life as it moves forward through time, space, as time, space emerges from it. Right there at the diaphragm, have a connection. Be in touch with your diaphragm. All of the prana being processed by your lungs and heart. Your hips, the balance between your intention, your motivation, and your purpose concept of life. Experience your abdomen. It's really glad that you're paying attention to the pelvis, because it has to sit in that pelvic bowl. Every step you take in life, it has to sit in that pelvic bowl. It's so grateful. Your emotions are grateful that you're paying attention. Your diaphragm. Connection to the Akasha. Literally, a connection to the film of your life, past, present, future. You want to rewrite the story of your life as it moves forward through time, space, as time, space emerges from it. Right there at the diaphragm, have a connection. Be in touch with your diaphragm. All of the prana being processed by your lungs and heart. Shoulders, carrying the weight of your world. But the most important thing the shoulders do is create a balance for that stem of the neck. How does it hold that primitive brain? Because if it doesn't hold that primitive brain in a balanced state, that primitive brain becomes insecure and will govern your existence with instinctual behavior, defensive survival modes. All the way up to the crown. Now Hari Singh will play the gongs for the next 5 minutes. Let the body absorb the sound. Let the body absorb the sound. And in that way, the body will balance. in touch with how balanced your body, physical, emotional, mental, even your existential body. Be clearly aware of how balanced your body is. Just the equilibrium, the balance. You carry that equilibrium and that balance into any intention, and you will have sufficient motivation. It will give you complete merger into the present, because there will be nothing outside the present that you require in the present. In a very, very, very balanced way, begin to stretch your fingers and your toes without your arms moving. Just your fingers and your toes. Stretch into the body glove, one finger at a time, one toe at a time. Put your body glove back on, one small piece at a time. And without moving your arms and your legs, stretch into them. Stretch into your arms and stretch into your legs without moving them. And now begin to just gently move the arms and legs and the hands and stretch into them. Whole body is balanced. Stretch into your lungs by breathing more deeply. And now rub your palms together. Rub the soles of your feet together. And inhale now, and in a very balanced way, stretch your entire body. Equally right and left, equally top and bottom. And then do a cat stretch left and right. Open your lower spine. Bring your knees to your chest and roll on your spine and come sitting up. The mantra above my left shoulder. Say it. What is it that the human being can do that no other animal can do vocally? Form a consonant. And the way we form a consonant is with our tongue and our lips and our teeth. Now, say that mantra without using your tongue or your lips. This Yogi Bhajan says, removes your advantage, removes your human advantage, and because when your advantage is removed, you feel backed into a corner, you become your strongest. And when you are your strongest, you connect to your destiny. And come sitting up. The mantra above my left shoulder. Say it. What is it that the human being can do that no other animal can do vocally? Form a consonant. And the way we form a consonant is with our tongue and our lips and our teeth. Now, say that mantra without using your tongue or your lips. This Yogi Bhajan says, removes your advantage, removes your human advantage, and because when your advantage is removed, you feel backed into a corner, you become your strongest. And when you are your strongest, you connect to your destiny. That's how we spell it. A cow goes, mm, mm, just like you're going to go with this. Huh? Ventriloquist. The parrot is the supreme ventriloquist. Okay, take your right hand and make a fist. We're going to penetrate. Take your left hand and make a cup. Connect them together, right there between the navel point and the diaphragm. And we're going to chant, and you're going to chant at your own pace because no one wants to follow you when you're sounding like this. And you don't want to follow anyone else. You're having enough trouble just getting the words out, you know. So it's going to sound like this in the room. It's just going to sound like a bunch of mush. The only thing that you cannot use is your tongue and your lips. That's like saying, pick up this coin. The only thing you cannot use are your fingers, your feet, your lips, and your... All right, now, ready? Inhale. You're on it. Go. Every advantage that you have as a human man at this point feels like it's abandoned you. And yet you are absolutely guaranteeing that you will make it through. Once you have the mantra memorized, close your eyes. Until then, you can read it. Yogi Bhajan said this gains access to destiny. When you gain that access, you guarantee your outcomes. Experience your disadvantage with neutrality. Experience your disadvantage with equilibrium. Experience your disadvantage not as a disadvantage, but as an event. An event on the road of your destiny. See through your disadvantage. It is just an event in a moment. Destiny is destiny. Going into that theta state, you will tend to lose connection with conscious. Don't be concerned. Fist in the hand. Keep the fist in the hand. This will wipe out your ability for sympathy. Don't move your lips. Don't move your tongue. Keep the mantra going. Stay inside. Penetrate the time without any advantage. Penetrate the time. All you have is connection. Connection with destiny. Everything has been stripped from you. And you are steady, balanced, equal. A mystic, a man, a master. Equal to every moment. We are not the doer. We are not even the breather. In all of your disadvantage, Remain conscious. Deeper and deeper and deeper. A mystic, a man, a master, reduced to a disadvantage, prevail. A mystic, a man, a master, reduced to a disadvantage, prevail, prevail, prevail. Without moving your lips, without moving your tongue, prevail. Inhale. Keep the eyes closed. Squeeze the hand around the fist. Hold, suspend this breath. Hold the position, exhale, inhale. Silently, I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Even in the utmost disadvantage, I prevail. Experience this silently. Exhale. Inhale. Again, experience that silently. Even in the utmost disadvantage, I prevail in my destiny. Burst it out, hands out. Look up here. This is it's called the emphatic mudra. Right hand is crossing, chopping, not so hard, but just firmly on the left hand across the heart line, head line, and lifeline. It's called the emphatic mudra. Mantra is Wahe Guru Satnam. From total disadvantage, Wahe Guru Satnam, 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 to mind your intention. Bring to mind your motivation. Bring to mind your standards. Outcome. Guarantee the outcome. Guarantee the outcome. Guarantee the outcome. Take advantage of your disadvantage. Guarantee the outcome. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I guarantee the outcome. No longer in need of sympathy. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I guarantee the outcome. No need for sympathy. I take advantage of my disadvantage. The outcome is guaranteed. Because I am a man, I I am a mystic, I am a master. Because I am who I am, and that is that. And I know what I want, and that is that. And the outcome is guaranteed. Because I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Open your voice, rejoice, rejoice. Open your heart, let your music start. Open up your soul, let the good times roll. Outcome is guaranteed. Because I am a man, oh, I am a mystic, oh, I am a master. I'm a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master. Hey, Guru Sadnam, why hey 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 Guru Waheguru Satnam, 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 Waheguru Satnam,
Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru Satnam, Waheguru.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Everybody now, I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Keep the hands going. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Contain it. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Keep hitting your, keep doing your hands. Stand on your feet and stand square in horse pose. I am a man, I am a mystic. Bend your knees. I am a master. Put it through your body. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Let your body experience. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man on both legs. I am a master. Feet parallel. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Feel it in your legs. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. Feel it in your pelvis. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. Feel it in your abdomen.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. All your emotions. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. All of your devotions.
I am a man,
I am a mystic. I am a master.
I am a master.
Let your voice use your diaphragm.
I am a man,
I am a mystic. I am a
master.
Like a trampoline. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am a master. Feel your heart beating.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. Feel your shoulders.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. Feel your neck.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
Let it support your voice.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
Feel your primitive brain.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
Feel the crown of your
I
head.
am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
Feel your equality
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master.
to everything.
I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I am a man, I am a mystic, I am a master. I'm a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master. I'm a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master. I'm a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master. I'm a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master.
Inhale. Through your lips, very gently release the breath. Walk around the room and give each other hugs, really confirming hugs. Close your eyes and let the movement move your body. This is a Pori from Japji. Let your body feel this new self, this balanced, equal self. Let the body begin to express it. You're a man, you're a mystic, you're a master. You're not better than anyone. You're a leader for anyone. Benevolent leader. Feel the balance. Experience the freedom. Experience the confidence. Experience the fullness. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. All together. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. I am equal to each moment. I am who I am. I know who I am to be. Every step I take, the outcome is guaranteed. I am benevolent. I am a leader. I am a man. I am a mystic. I am a master. Come sit. In the death spiral of the planet Earth, we came on the scene. We had to break through all of our events to emerge from our egg, to remove our shell. Can you turn this just a little down? To remove our shell. 2012 was the point of contact. 65 years to 2077. The first 45 years are for us to awaken the sleeping teachers. After that, we have 1/3 of that time, 15 years, we gather all of us together. After that, 1/3 of that, we have 5 years to enchant the children. If a kettle is boiling, only the water that's closest to the fire is going to turn to steam. That's you and me. You and I are turning to steam, going through that sublimation point before anyone else on the planet. And as we are associating with all of the others on the planet, they're afraid of the fire. We have to enchant them because they will not go to the fire. They are not meant to go to the fire. We are a small minority of the people on the planet. We are not better than anyone on the planet. We're at the boiling point. To take 1 gram of water up 1 degree, it takes 1 calorie of heat. For every degree that you take water from freezing, just beyond freezing, first stage of liquid, all the way up through to 100 degrees centigrade, it takes 1 calorie of heat to raise 1 gram of water 1 degree centigrade. To flip water from water to gas to vapor to boil, it takes 584 calories. It only took 1 calorie each degree. That last degree takes 584 times the amount of energy. That's the process you and I are going through, and we can't expect the rest of the world to understand. It's not that we chose to go through this. We had no choice in the matter. We had just evolved to that point. We are the leaders. You're going to go back into the world from men's camp. We've been in a bit of a bubble here. And it's going to be just as messed up, or appear to be, as it was the day you left it. And that means that we have to not see the shell that looks all messed up, but see the God in all. We've got to see the seed. We've got to see the infinity and be aware of the shell. We've got to be aware of the shell, because the shell is going to, snap and smack us if we are not aware of the shell. But we're aware of the shell, and when we're aware of the shell and we see the seed, you can walk up to a serial killer with a loaded 45, and you can just hug him or her. And they'll disregard the gun because they're far more interested in your hug, metaphoric or physical, than they are in pulling that trigger. Because all they are children crying out for what? Sympathy. And because you no longer need even 1 gram of sympathy, when you're in their presence, you're not stealing from them. You're giving to them. Not sympathy, but what they really need, not what they want. You're giving them empathy. You're giving them that reality. And that's how you have to slide inside their shell. Get right in there on the inside. What did Sevak and Guru Dev Singh say? We have to, it's a P word. Get right inside their shell. Have some social intercourse. And when you have the power to get inside their shell, don't mistake it for the power of your dick. That's where every great master, if they're not totally in their state, falls, right? Those of us that have been around for a while, haven't we seen so many fall to their dick? Over and over. Because you're in there. You've got penetration. And you go, holy smokes, this feels like I should be sexual. Because it does feel like that. But you release that. Remember, Akidao? You release that impulse. It goes right by you. And you are right there inside. Temptation, temptation. The last temptation of Jesus. Every great master of the Buddha. Every great master. Every great master. I am a master. So you are a great master. You are going to have that temptation. It is going to be there, guaranteed. But what do you also guarantee? You also guarantee the outcome. That's simple. Get right inside that shell. Feel the infinity. Embrace all those children. God, there's billions of them now. And they're fighting in the sandbox earth with major weapon systems. Oh my God. Right? Right? And you know the nursery school, the daycare center earth has had no adult supervision for a very long time. And you're all of a sudden showing up, and it's like Lord of the Flies in there, right? And they're killing each other in that daycare center. You know, throwing out, they had an ambulance. That was a symbol. When you were doing the I am a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master, You know what came in the room? The dragonfly. Look up the mystical meaning of a dragonfly. A dragonfly was studied by the militaries from all over the world because the dragonfly can do everything that every military aircraft has always wanted to be able to do. It can back up, it can change direction, it can fly sideways, it can go up, it can go down, it can do everything, and they have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on studying the dragonfly. That dragonfly came in here. He didn't have to come in here, or she. She just came in and said, well, you guys are like dragonflies in here, man. You guys are like masters. You guys are like, whoa, you guys are like me. And then it took off. That's good. Welcome to the world of you. Questions?
So I guess my question was, if there's a path of least resistance between presence and preference, does that align with a specific chakra, part of the radiant body, or
all of them and all
frequency?
of it? All of them and all of it. Literally, if you need sympathy, you'll live in the difference. If you have an outcome guaranteed, like I am a man, I'm a mystic, I'm a master, right? Then you will do just what you were talking about. You will literally move through your radiant body, the chakras, etc., etc. And you will know that this is a guarantee, so you will sit in your presence, and like the Buddha said, or like Muhammad rather said, I am not going to go to the mountain must come to me. So then your preference arrives. It's said that patience is not waiting. Patience is knowing.
I guess just a related question was, is that related to a specific text, that model?
Is this model related to a specific text? Yeah, notes from Yogi Bhajan's lectures.
You mentioned in the chart the 45 years of the awakening process. The question I have is, people are taking sometimes their own process, or how to be part of that process without creating sometimes just waking them up that they become so upset about it. How can we facilitate, or how can we start engaging in the process as people start waking up, or helping them to wake up?
Yogi Bhajan used a great metaphor for many years, and it was the forklift. And the reason that he used the forklift was because I ran the brass bed factory, which was the factory, the first family business, right? And we would employ all these yoga students, because nobody would hire a yoga student. You know, nobody would hire us. I mean, look at you. You're unemployable. I mean, you know, look at you. You squeeze into your employment role, but really, you would be much happier if you just did your thing, right? But most every one of us is unemployable, and, you know, we're not going to fuss with that. So he said, you got to make businesses that will employ us, because we'll do that. He came down and visited us one day, and he found us with a forklift. We had bought a forklift because we had big stuff, you know. Well, if you've ever driven a forklift, it's the back wheels that turn, not the front wheels, so you can actually turn on a dime. He got so fascinated with the science of a forklift, because he says, this is just like a spiritual teacher. A spiritual teacher has to turn on a dime. A spiritual teacher has to come up to the object, the person, right, and lower their fork to the person's level, but not get down to their level. So you're in the forklift, you're a spiritual teacher, somebody approaches you, you need to get your forks down and support them. He said you have to stand your forks under them. In other words, you have to understand them. So once your forks are under them, if you've ever driven a forklift, then you have to tilt the item back towards you. So there's this thing that you tilt the forks and the item back towards you, so that it leans against you, that you can embrace it while you lift it up. Because if you don't do that, it'll fall off forward, right? So you tilt the student back towards you, you embrace them, and you start to lift them. At a certain level, he noticed, the load is not going to go any higher without capsizing. It's not going to go any higher without falling all over the place. So he said that means that you only raise a person to just beyond their comfort point. Yes. And they'll fork you. Okay? Now, the good news is we're only a year and a half into the 45 years, so we've got 43 and a half years of awakening to do. In other words, the deadline isn't like by tonight at 5:30. Well, that's what time it is right now. So we've got time. So just forget all the stuff that's... The kids are screaming. They're throwing sand at each other. The Muslims are throwing sand at the Jews. The Jews are stealing sand from the Christians. The Christians are throwing rocks, but they call them rockets, at everybody, and they don't want to get into the fray, so they do it remote control, right? And there's like a garage door opener. You know? We just can't get into that. It's going to go on, you know, the XL pipeline and all this stuff. It's going to go on. What we have to do is we have to perfect our awakenedness and begin waking up others. Every time I think of waking up, I think of this story that Savik told me. This guy was reading from the Guru. Savik, tell the story, man.
This was in the early years. We were actually talking because of last night's program and how eloquently and beautifully the simplicity of relating to the Guru as the Gur, as that technology. And we didn't have that when we first started. We didn't have any flippant idea what the heck we were doing. I mean, we were living in orange crates, you know. We're basically just beyond our teens. And the first time we had the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib at our ashram in Phoenix, we were just sort of trying to learn the protocols and things. And I was mentioning to Guru Singh, I said, you know, I can't imagine how difficult it was for Yogi Ji, whose heart and soul and essence and fiber bows to the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. It's the most sacred part of his relation. And
one of the reasons, and I'm interrupting for a reason, one of the reasons that he has that, somebody asked, what text is this all in? Well, you know, the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib has all of yoga, has all of mysticism, has all of meditation, has all of these things in it. And that's the text that a lot of this comes from, but go ahead.
And so the Akhand Path is it's an unbroken reading of the text, and so there's of the Guru, and it's
like a relay race.
Yeah, it's like a relay race, and so you sign up for an hour, and you read your hour, and then you get relieved.
And when someone relieves you, it's just like a relay race.
Yeah.
They read while you're reading, and you hear them reading while you're reading, and you stand up and they sit down.
And then you get to go, about your business. Well, there was one particular Akhand Path that was happening shortly after we moved buildings in Phoenix, and there was a fellow who was reading, and he didn't get relieved, and so he actually fell asleep right on the Guru. And so he was
like the Guru was his pillow.
Like the Guru was his pillow, and he was laying there, and so this little drools kind of. Yeah, no, I mean it's
just get with the story, man.
Get with the story.
Don't ask for sympathy. Come on, get with the story.
Yeah, so he's he's there, and then the next person who was like, you got to skip an hour because whoever was supposed to relieve him didn't come. And so you got to skip an hour, and so here you are, just about sadhana time, about a little before 3, and so the person comes in, and startles him, and so he pops up, and a page of the Guru is stuck to his face.
And
well,
it rips out of the book.
It comes out of the Guru, and it's stuck to his face, and so from then on, every time we read the Guru till we got a new Guru. We remember what it means to
where the tape is and the story, and you can hardly hold in the. Yeah. It's funny.
It takes, but that's where we came from, and that's part of the awakening. I mean, that's part of the awakening. Where there's all levels of awakening that you as masters we must facilitate. And so we have to go to where that person. If you can't laugh with that guy who had that happen, you know, what's it going to be? His whole life is going to be, well, give me sympathy. You know? Good. Hanji?
Hey, that's a positive way of interpreting it. This is the page for the day.
This is the hook'em of the day.
The Golden Temple is surrounded by a tank of water, and it's the most sacred place for Sikhs in the world. And the first time that Citizen South took a bunch of Americans, a lady just put her bathing suit and started doing laps.
Well, it doesn't matter what he said, but the kids at Mitty Pitty every year would dare each other, and they'd go in fully dressed in their clothes and swim out to the Golden Temple and swim back. And every year, the guards around the edge of the tank would know it was coming, and they would see it coming, and they would go, "Oh man, those Westerners, they're crazy," you know. Questions, yeah.
Guru Singh, I wanted to make a comment from some of the things that I heard from some of the guys, and the talk about the mystics. And so I can feel, I'm sure that many of us can feel the question in the head of, well, I'm no mystic. No, I'm no mystic. Well, yes, you are. And what does it require to be a mystic? It only requires in that moment when you're confronted with, do I see all of this shell or do I see the seed? To see the seed in that moment from your elevated consciousness, that is a mystical movement. That is the act of a mystic, because you have transcended the normal time and space and you have altered the frequency. And that's what a mystic does.
And it's a physical thing. It's not a philosophy.
Everybody does it.
It's not a theory.
You can do it.
You bring your brain through all of the technology that we have, through the asanas, through the kriyas, through the pranayams, through the chanting. You bring your body into that support equality so that your emotions are supporting your equality. And then you bring your brain so your thoughts are supporting your equality, that you can go into, in time of crisis, you can actually go into, instead of going into gamma mode and figuring out where. How many people have ever been in a situation where suddenly everything went into slow motion, like you were in the middle of a car accident or something like that, everything goes into slow motion? That is literally when your brain, in the midst of a crisis, drops in, to save your life, right? You drop into theta mode. Because what theta mode is taking in so much information in each frame. That's how they make slow motion film. Slow motion film is super, super high res, and every frame has so much information that when they slow it down, it doesn't go herky-jerky. It's got smooth fluidity. So your brain goes into a theta state. That's a mystic. Go ahead.
So you're feeling this strength inside, and yet there's also this sort of this programming as a personality that leads you into these 5 obstacles, where you're watching yourself and you're saying, "Wow, this is amazing that I'm here, and I feel this way." And there's this juxtaposition where you're watching yourself experience lust, experience greed, experience these things, and yet you know in your heart that that's something that's happening to you, but that isn't you.
What you have, Yogi Bhajan said, you face the flames until they bow to you. And what is, see, this future, which hasn't gone through your light yet, right, has all of that in it. It's got the 5 temptations. It's got all of that stuff in it, right? And you're changing. At this level, you're changing. At the lens, you're changing. Now what you have to do is creep, literally, up into the film canister that hasn't yet put its film through the moment, and begin altering pre-time. What you have to do in order to do that is absolutely 1,000% not need sympathy, because if you're altering pre-time to succeed, that means that you're removing any opportunity for sympathy, any opportunity to be taken care of. You start working in pre-time and you end up being absolutely unable to be taken care of. No one can take care of you, ever, at any moment. So you're giving up a huge fallback position, a huge knee-jerk fallback position. However, you ask that question because that's where you are at. You asked that question in this room, and everyone in this room heard it, because that's where we are all at. We are all at that position of releasing that last bit of need for any sympathy whatsoever. And we will, just from being that and remaining that, we will automatically creep up and tweak it. But when it hasn't yet been tweaked, we have to remain in place. We have to remain equal. We have to not get, sucked into lust, anger, greed, pride, and attachment, right? We have to just be okay with, okay, I'm inside, they're all over me. Don't take, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, and I got power, right? I could clean up money-wise right now. I could clean up, sexually I could get all I need, and you gotta, that's the fire. That is the fire of desire. And you gotta be good with that. Because the moment you say, I shouldn't have that desire goes for its life. It goes, and it becomes the dragon. And all of a sudden, you will be just worshiping that desire. And then, because if you don't, you are messed up. Because if you fall for that, when you've got yourself to that position of being that clear and that clean, and you start moving up here and cleaning your pre-time, and all of a sudden the desire comes in and all of that, and all of a sudden you fall for that. Remember the song? Yogi Bhajan made up this song. Don't step on any more of the roaches on the floor, 'cause they're all. Don't step on any more of the roaches on the floor, 'cause they're all former spiritual teachers. Because what does the roach run from? Light. He said, if you mess up, and he actually didn't say mess up. He said, if you mess up at that level of existence, you don't get another human incarnation right thereafter. When you're in the womb, you better check your paws or your claws or your antennae. He says, because you will know in the womb how bad it is. Whoa. Yeah? How's that for fear? Whoa. So lust, anger, greed, pride, and attachment. When is it okay? Hey, if you just want to go out and dick around, I'm not saying you, I'm saying the proverbial you, right? If one just wants to go out and dick around, just understand that there's a huge energy exchange there. Huge energy exchange there. And when we aren't aware of that energy exchange, it exchanges anyway. I loved it. We were in class one time, and you never asked a question in Yogi Bhajan's class. This lady's raising and waving her hand, and she says, he'd been talking about lifetime after lifetime, and she says, but what if I don't believe in reincarnation? And he looked at her and he says, that doesn't matter, it happens anyway. What did she want immediately? To do is enter each moment with the why. The why is the outcome is guaranteed. That's the why. And then in that moment, You're painted into a corner. You got no tongue and no lips, and you got to chant the mantra. You are at a total disadvantage. And you just leave it up to, however, you know, Christianity is a bhakti yoga. And being in love and adoration with Jesus is just a bhakti yoga. It's worshiping. And what does the word worship mean? Begins with C. Begins with C-O-N-N-E-C-T. The word worship means to connect, right? To connect, not just as a belief or a philosophy or that, but just to connect body and soul with that ascended master, right? So in that moment, you just have that. You have that sensation. You're investing in trust. You're investing in faith. You're investing in trust, investing in faith. You know that in each moment, at each time, you will say the right thing. You will do the right thing. You will be the right thing. Absolutely. And that will fail. And then it'll succeed. And then it'll fail twice. And then it'll succeed. And then it'll fail 3 times. And then it'll succeed 4 times. And then it'll fade. And pretty soon, all of a sudden, from that wobbly bicycle, right, all of a sudden, you're a bike rider. Hey, Mom, no hands, look at me, you know, ha-ha, no feet, you know, look at me. Because we can ride bikes pretty good by now, can't we? But at one point, we were like this and falling sometimes. So that's what the moment is, because ultimately, when the tiger comes out, it appears in the form of the shell. And you go, wow, that was so cool. That's what you're feeling inside. You don't necessarily say that, because that could be almost like taunting. So, and you don't actually make that move. That's how it happens. That's how it happens.
Okay.
So you just make that move inside and you go, wow, that was so cool.
So talking about the brain waves, it's almost like a muscle. It's like conditioning.
Yeah, it
You
is.
can become more aware of it, and at first, like when you first start experiencing a deeper brain or a slower brainwave than you're used to, it like your conscious mind can only handle so much, and then it just gets overloaded with information and you fall asleep.
Right. And also, when you start to move around and you begin to experience visuals and auditory differences, right, than is so-called normal, right, or that you have been accustomed to, then your system, you can go immediately to your reticular formation and go into survival mode. Because if you don't remain steady and balanced and physically level and balanced and, you know, all equal, you will go into, it'll take you, because it's so unknown. It's what Guru Singh was teaching us a couple days ago about the known and the unknown. It's so unknown that your system thinks it's going to perish. And so that's when your commitment needs to override your instinct.
About the reticular formation, does Jalandharband, the neck
Yes.
lock, does that work directly on that?
Yes. Yes, it does. Would
Can you
would you explain what Jalandharband is to the people in the room?
Jalandharband is used throughout Kundalini Yoga through many different postures. And what it is pulling the chin down and straightening the neck. So not like you're not bringing the neck all the way down to the chest.
It's actually moving. What he just said is exact. You move you actually move it all back this direction. And what that does, because the reticular formation, if I can just use you as a sample, is right here. Feel back here where the base of your skull is, right where the spine, the upper neck cervical vertebrae insert into the skull. There's this thing called the head of the spine, right? And it's like the head of a serpent. And that's why they call it the reptilian brain, is because it is the most primitive, and it looks like the head of a serpent. And it's made up of what's called the medulla and the pons. And by pulling into that like this, you know, 2 things happen. One, you open the throat, so the throat actually can vibrate more directly. The another thing is you've opened up the passageway to the reticular formation, and chanting is in Jalandhaban is one of the greatest ways of literally freeing up its lock on you. Because it locks in on you anytime you feel like you're not equal to the situation. And that's why all of this translates up here, and all of what we got going on then translates into the brain waves. So your emotions, your brain thought activity can all be utilized to its greatest advantage, because all you are is a worship instrument. Most people chase their preference, so they don't live in their presence. By chasing your preference, you actually don't ever get to your preference, because you can't get to your preference unless you start from your presence. Remember the story of the GPS? So by chasing the preference, not being in your presence, you live in the hell of your difference. You're not in your presence, you're not in your preference, you're in the pain of the in-between. So what has to happen is you have to, look at how I spelled that. You're allowed one mistake per life. And you've just witnessed mine. First mistake I've made in life. You have to come back to your presence. You have to just come back to your presence. Okay, I've got my preference, I've got my preference, I've got my preference. It's the Buddha in the Bodhi tree, right? I come back to my presence. That's good, but I absolutely know that my preference will arrive. I sit in my presence. That's a powerful position to be in. No distraction, no dwelling in the difference of the pain of the difference. And you probably have heard me tell this story, but I'll tell it again, so just laugh as if I haven't said it. There you go. There you go. See? It's great to be the hero. When you're on drugs, you're like psychotic, right? You have a psychotic break. And so we had created this Date with Yogi Bhajan, and it was a big event in Los Angeles, and we had rented out this big hall, 2,500 seats, and it was like 1970. Date with Yogi Bhajan. We filled the hall, and me and a crew had worked really hard to do it, and we were just really tense because we wanted it to be perfect, right? So we weren't much good to the moment. So I'm sitting down in the front left, and Yogi Bhajan is sitting and he's talking, and he's about 20 minutes in, and out of the corner of my eye I see this kind of flailing going on. And it's in those theater seats, you know, those seats that flip up when you stand up, right? And then they flip down. That's so you can walk through the aisle and they don't take up space. And here was this woman trying to stand on one of those flip seats. I don't know if you've ever done it, but you can break a leg on them. You know, she's like this, going like this, going like this. I'm thinking, can she not see? She needs a bit higher view. And all of a sudden, have you ever heard somebody that's truly in a psychotic state yell? They don't need a microphone. They can fill a stadium, right? I mean, it's shrill. And out of her mouth comes, "Yogi, you're so full of shit, I can't believe it." Now, everybody in the whole auditorium has heard her at massive decibels. And without even so much as pausing between words, he says, "I'm glad you bring that up." He moved right inside the moment, but it wasn't the moment of this woman, it was the moment of the whole auditorium, because we were totally aghast, right? He moved right inside. He says, "I'm glad you bring that up. Fact is, we're all full of shit. And our intestinal tract is," and he starts talking about intestines, digestion, food, diet, everything. And he's just moving on and moving on. And this woman is kind of like going like this, and she's going like this. Pretty soon she's sitting down. He finishes his deal with full of shit. And he gets right back to where he was in his lecture. And after the lecture, we're all backstage, you know, we're all surrounding him. And it was long before the days of security and anything else. So we were just all hanging around. And all of a sudden I notice, because I'm like kind of right up next to him, all of a sudden I notice I feel this big thing part behind me. And there she is. And kind of like everybody kind of like backed up like this, right? And she just walked right up to him and she said, "Sir, that was the first time I've ever been heard." And he reached out and he hugged her. And she ended up being a teacher in Kundalini Yoga. Most moments when there's a psychotic event taking place is one of the most severe requests for what? And what she had always gotten throughout, as you can imagine, throughout her whole life, was to be told how wrong she was. What did Yogi Bhajan say? He didn't give her sympathy, did he? Because one way of giving her sympathy would have been to throw her out. Then she would have had a big story she could tell everybody and get a lot of sympathy from that. That would have been a sympathy gift. What did he say? "I'm glad you bring that up." He included her right in the auditorium. She was an important moment in the auditorium. She was being heard, she was being expressed to, she was being explained to. Nobody told her she was bad or wrong or anything else that she had been told her entire life. And her entire life she had been asking for more and more and more sympathy because everybody was telling her she was wrong and she was in this vicious cycle.
So one is on the brainwave chart that you had up there. You talked about the theta state and the delta state. And I haven't seen it in any of the literature, but if you truly are wanting to practice going into those states, do you need to be in a supportive posture to do that? Is there a methodology for practicing that?
You know, you will be in a, one of the things, look at it, Sevak Singh's chair.
High tech.
You know, there, I was telling Sevak that when it was missing, he shouldn't look at me. Yes, the best way to train yourself, eventually you can get into it and remain cognitive, not cognitive, remain conscious. But until you get there, it's like trainer wheels. You're going to need a physically supportive kind of condition. Because you will go asleep all the time until you start to creep in there. First thing you're going to look for when you go into meditation are words of meaning. When you're going into that alpha theta range, first thing you're going to be receiving is words without meaning. After you've received words without meaning, you're going to be receiving symbols with meaning, because you're getting down below the cognition stage, right? Getting down below the conscious brain, the cognitive brain, and you're going to go into the unconscious components. But you're going to be conscious in the unconscious. So you're going to be receiving symbology. First symbology you're going to receive is symbology with meaning. As you receive the symbology with meaning, you're going to start putting definitions to it, which is bringing you back into a verbal state. So you go down in, you pick this up, you come out. You go down in, you pick this up, and you come out. You have to train yourself to go down into symbols with meaning and not put them into definitions, which is tough, because it's like really tough for you not to try to define something. The brain is always like this play-by-play announcer in your head going, this is what you're doing, and this is what it's meaning, and this is what that person's doing, and this is what that's meaning, this is what this is doing, that's what that's meaning. And that's the brain's survival methodology. The brain doesn't want to be unemployed, so it keeps talking to you. Now, when you get down into symbols with meaning, you're not going to be allowed down deeper until you can be in that state with the brain, the mind. The mind is a misnomer. You have a brain, you don't have a mind. The universe has a mind, and it broadcasts to your brain. So your brain picks up this information, and then pretty soon you've practiced it long enough. Now all of a sudden you're not being described what it is that you're experiencing. You're simply experiencing the experience. And in that state, you are in the presence. Right? The moment you're in the presence, boom, you drop to the next level. The next level is symbols without meaning. Immediately again, symbols without meaning, you want to put meaning to them, so you come right back up to the cognitive level, and you're out of theta and you're into high alpha. You're not even into low alpha, and you're almost going into beta, because it's like, like this. Because when you drop into symbols without meaning, the only thing you feel is you're asleep. But you're not, until you are. So you have a split second in those early trial runs to be able to allow there to be symbols without meaning, without trying to add meaning to them. And so you go in and out, and in and out. You practice that over and over and over and over and over, until eventually you can go into symbols with, you can go into words with meaning, drop into words without meaning, drop into symbols with meaning, drop into symbols without meaning, and now you're in a theta state, and it means nothing. But what's happening is that every one of your intentions is being planted. Like, you got friends now in high places. You got fluence. Remember Lucy used to say that? Or who used to say, I got fluence? Meaning you got influence, right? It's Yogi Bhajan used to talk about traction, because back in that day there was this commercial on television about tiger paw tires. You remember those? Tiger paw gets traction, and he's, yeah, that's like when you get into deep meditation, you get traction with the universe. You don't have to think about your intentions. You don't have to pray for, wish for, ask for. Your intent. God invented you and your intentions. Even if you don't believe in God, it happens anyway. And I don't mean that man or that woman. I mean that intelligent, the vastness that's nothing. Created you, created your intentions. How the heck do you think you need to explain everything that you want in life? That's like you saying, now, only my right hand knows what I really want, so I'm going to have to explain it to my left hand. Wouldn't that be kind of silly? You had another.
The turban. There's sometimes it's referred to as a turban. Other situations it's referred to as a head covering. My understanding is that it's designed to place pressure around the cranium for a particular purpose. I'm just wondering if you could describe head covering as a form of respect. Is that different than the turban? And I mean, can you put a ball cap on and provide pressure around the rim of your cranium and achieve the same effect?
Well, I'll answer the ball cap portion, and then I'll just open it up for anybody who wants to answer that, because I think it's a beautiful question, and I want more than just my response to it. Unless you have a ball cap that's too small and you force it on your head, it's not going to put pressure anywhere. And even if it does put pressure anywhere, it's going to be kind of a weird pressure. You know, there's this thing right here, and I've never seen a ball cap that does this, right? So anyway, open it up. Who else wants to talk about turbans? By the way, head cover, turban, when you're teaching, they're interchangeable. You don't have to wear a turban when you're teaching. So head cover is cool. I don't know about a ball cap when you're teaching. But, you know. Oh.
One of the things about having the head cover, and additionally having a white head cover, is remember
He says with the yellow one.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just teasing
not
you.
Teaching, that's okay. I don't need sympathy. That's all right. And when you're teaching, you remember in the first class when we did the thing about the circumvent force, right? It has a palpable effect in terms of your circumvent force when you're there delivering, and so that's from a technology point of view. That's one of the key things I believe in terms of why in our tradition you wear a head covering, you wear a white head covering, because even the difference in color has an effect in terms of the field of energy that you're able to transmit and to allow that golden chain to come through you. It's sort of like the filament in a light bulb, right? So you're creating that conduit through which this technology can flow. As far as a turban goes, it just really works, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it just works, and it's funny because what you'll see at solstice now are so many, and the ladies are a little more hip to it than the men because they can get away with it. You know, they're not stepping out quite up in front. Well, you know, you're already out, and then you're stepping out, and you're putting this thing on your head, and it's like, hey, look at me, you know. But if you look at solstice, the variations of turban is fantastic. It's just fantastic, and so it's really a technology that is ancient.
And that variation has only just begun.
Yeah. And you go way back, and you know, native peoples everywhere have had covers. The Jews before the yarmulke, it was like a full boat.
It was a wrap.
A wrap.
Full wrap.
Yeah. So that's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, I've been raised in this, and so I've been used to one thing, and then had to experience it in my own way to make it real. And also was able, since I'd always experienced it, able to experience contrast when I didn't have a turban. And so, for me, not wearing a turban, I can't get away with it for very long. Like, I can maybe go half a day without a turban if I'm like just puttering around in the house, but more than that, and I just feel like nothing. I feel like a schmuck. It's like my energy is just scattered everywhere. My focus is not there. And actually, even structurally, most of the time, once I tie my turban, then it's like my cranium like solidifies in a certain way, and then I'm like, oh, pop, pop, pop. My neck starts adjusting, and then my yoga flows so much better because it's like this is the crown, this is the pinnacle of your body, and if it's loose and if it's not really, you know, tight and honed and sharpened, then you're doing everything else, and by the time the impact of the yoga gets up here, if this isn't in alignment and focused, then it just kind of like putters around. So
that's a lot more than 2 cents, man. Even with inflation, that's at least 50.
So for me, both energetically and physically, it's like night and day, and I can't go without it.
If you Google turbans, it's really interesting. Because there are several websites, you know, that talk about turbans. They talk about, you know, the rabbis. They talk about the priests. And there is a whole controversy online between factions of monks and priests who some are saying, you know, well, you know, we should do as Rome has done. But then there's a whole other faction that has Bible quotes that say the priests are not supposed to cut their hair and they're supposed to wear a turban. And it refers to it. It's a different word. I can't remember it right now. But it's a different word, and it just goes all the way through there. There's passages, and it's kind of a heated discussion. And so this turban and hair wearing and being connected to spirituality certainly goes back a long ways.
And in many ways, a long ways.
In many ways.
Next person.
A well-known saint and teacher, Rabindranath Tagore, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, he said when he achieved God consciousness, the first thing he did was throw his shaving kit into the ocean. Whether he should have thrown it into the ocean is probably a different discussion, but point is...
How unethical.
My question is the Marmon point set. Can you talk about the Marmon points and the pressure, the acupuncture pressures that occur with the turbans tied, and
Yeah,
the influence they have?
Those points actually were known to the Native Americans, the First Nation Canadians, and what they would do is they would soak their leather bands in water and then put. If you notice in an anthill, the anthill will put all the very round stones. You know, those are very small round pebbles. And when the native men were going to go out on a hunt, what they would do is they would take and put those stones exactly where those points are, and then tie this wet leather band really tight, so that when it dries, it would shrink down and it would put a great pressure with those stones, and it would be like a very poignant acupressure. And what that would do is it would allow them to, what they would actually do under those conditions is that they would chase down an elk, and they would run for 3 or 4 days, and the elk would ultimately become so exhausted from the continuous chase that these really highly accentuated human beings, that they would just chase it down and it would become exhausted and give itself up. So the turban is very much mimicking that and putting pressure on those meridians. Here's what I would like you to do, because we can talk and talk and talk about the turban, but it's a matter of experience. Just like Sri Atma was saying, that he has this experience when he doesn't wear it, he feels disconnected after a certain period of time. All I would ask you to do is just, take a towel and bring it around your head, roll it up, put it back, tuck it in, and just wear it for, half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and just feel what it feels like. Don't look in the mirror, just feel what it feels like for your whole system to be drawn up like this. Right? And you might decide that you will wear it in the privacy of your home because of what you feel, what you're experiencing. Or you might decide that it just gives you a headache and you don't want to do it. But everybody has a very personal experience about wrapping the head, both in how you experience the experience of your reflection in a mirror, right? I don't mean in an actual mirror, I mean in the reflection of people around you. And so it's very, very personal, very intimately personal. There's a lot of exalted masters who did not wear turbans. There's a lot of exalted masters who shaved their heads. There's a lot of exalted masters who wore their hair in dreads. There's a lot of exalted masters, thank God, that were women and did whatever they did. But turbans are one way. Yogi Bhajan gave 10 or more thousand meditations. Not any one meditation was the way. So really get into the deepest aspect of yourself, and you will come up with your own conclusions on things to do with what you should wear, what you don't wear, how you should do this, what you don't do. But don't ever get into what? A need for sympathy.
Is the spontaneous Kundalini awakening essentially a fast track from beta to theta? No.
Spontaneous Kundalini awakening is usually not a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. It is a psychic break, and it's being branded as a Kundalini awakening. But I don't know how hard you work to raise your awareness, but I know how hard I work, and it's a tough road to hoe to get that Kundalini up and to keep it up and to maintain that balance and all of that. And so a spontaneous Kundalini experience is probably a misnomer or a misconception or a misinterpretation. And Kundalini gets a bad rap sometimes because people say it's dangerous. And here's a story time. Because I drove the Yogi Bhajan for the first year of him being in America, he was told when he left India that if he taught Kundalini Yoga openly and publicly that he would die within the year. And his response to the people, his peers that told him this, was, great, it'll be the best year of my life. And the reason that Kundalini Yoga was said to be dangerous, and you shouldn't teach it publicly and openly, was when the Central Asian Mughals invaded India, they realized that yogis, all of yogis, were not amongst the ones that they can enslave and control. So they started outlawing certain practices and certain teaching of yoga, etc., etc. And they noticed that Kundalini yogis, the ones that were really masters of Kundalini, they were like impossible. They could not be enslaved, could not be controlled, could not even be governed. And so they said, okay, well, you can teach Kundalini Yoga privately, one-on-one, but you cannot teach Kundalini Yoga publicly. And back in those days, a lot of things were capital crimes, and this was one of them. If you taught Kundalini Yoga openly and publicly, and you got caught, you would be executed. So therefore, teaching Kundalini Yoga openly and publicly got the name of, it's dangerous. It could kill you, right? Well, like so many things, the reason behind the story gets lost, but the story remains. And the story is Kundalini Yoga, teaching it openly and publicly, will kill you within a year. So they made it an exact time. So I'm driving Yogi Bhajan, and it's like January 5th, 1970. It's January 5th, 1970. What's the birthday of 3HO? What? January 5th. January 5th, 1970. And he turns to me as I'm driving and he says, just with no introduction, no explanation, he just says, there. I knew it was bullshit. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, what did I do? Because I thought, of course, right, I needed sympathy. So I thought he was talking about me. Right? And I needed that sympathy. So he says, Guru Singh, what day is it? And I say, January 5th. So how long have I been teaching? A year. Yeah. And I was told I would die within a year. I knew it was bullshit. So Kundalini is not dangerous. Yes, you do need to have a good teacher because it's not dangerous. You just need a good teacher so that you don't do it incorrectly. And the danger of doing it incorrectly was you'd do it for 150 years and nothing would happen. How dangerous is that, man? That's like the worst thing you could ever have happen to you. Was so dedicated, yeah, but nothing happened.
Satnam, I have a comment on that one. I'm back you. Sometimes I explain to people, well, yeah, that can be dangerous. Here's the danger. You practice Kundalini Yoga and it changes you. It changes you so much, you get to become the true you, and then everything else around you is no good anymore. You lose friends, you have to change your job, everything shifts.
That's dangerous.
I said that is dangerous. And if you don't want any of that to happen, you don't do the yoga.
You don't do it.
In Gopi Krishna's first book, he rails on Kundalini Yoga because he learned a couple of practices. He didn't have a teacher. He practiced on his own. He did them way beyond the prescribed time. And he had basically a psychotic break. And then
Which is not a Kundalini experience.
Exactly.
He had a psychotic break.
And his physiology responded to that, and he got very, very ill. And however, fast forward to the last book he wrote. You know what the title is? Kundalini, Secret to Yoga. That's the title of his final book.
Right, I read it.
Another thing about these spontaneous awakenings, most of the people that claim them are under the influence of multiple drugs and or medications. And drugs like ecstasy, etc., it breaks down barriers in your nervous system, and you get all these awakenings.
Yeah, but it's not. It is not the Kundalini rising.
No, but you see things, and then you come back after that, and it's like you feel like you see God, you see meaning with everything, then you come back to normal. You don't just come back to normal, you go way down, and you feel really crappy. So you get the duality between what's possible and where I am, and that makes them psychotic.
Just to get us back to square one, what is this saying? Okay. Is that something that you achieve? Do you achieve that equality, or is that the reality? It's a reality. When you raise your Kundalini, you become aware that it's a reality. You don't become the equality. You become aware that equality is a reality. Nothing that you do in Kundalini Yoga actually does anything except wake you up with more than just a three-dimensional view of life, and it allows you to realize, wow, I am equal. But you were always equal. You just didn't know it. A small child, common experience, or a cat. A cat is up in a tree, so they call the fire department, right? The fire department comes out with its ladder. When the fireman is trying to take the cat that's stuck up in the tree out of the tree, what's the cat doing? Holding on to the tree and scratching the fireman. Why? Because the cat believes that this is dangerous, correct? Is it dangerous? Is that fireman going to like take the cat and wring its neck and, no. The fireman is going to take the cat and bring it down and give it to its owner, and the owner is going to hug it, and everybody's going to be happy. Does the cat know that? No, the cat doesn't know that. So we live our life in the same ignorance. We are equal, but we have to disassemble. We have to unlearn what we believe. And once we unlearn what we believe, that we're not equal to a situation, or we're better than a situation, or we're less than a situation. Once we unlearn all that, we realize what is. And then what happens is what Hardy Singh was saying, things that you took on while you felt unequal don't quite fit. They don't serve you anymore. Anything that you can do in Kundalini Yoga that increases the circumvent force is a methodology of protecting, because what this is going to work with is your electromagnetic field. And your circumvent force is your aura, your electromagnetic field.
Being has a unique and sovereign electromagnetic field. As long as the arc line is there rubbing the tattvas, we have an independent electromagnetic field. What Guru Singh is saying is, work your electromagnetic field. Kundalini Yoga is one of the, it's the Learjet to do that.
Yeah, all these fluctuations in sexual energy that are created because of hormone triggers and solar flares and all these other things that sometimes we can explain and sometimes we can't. Really, Yogi Ji would always say, you can balance all that sexual energy with Satkriya. So that's really the short answer to it.
Mm-hmm. And it's good to have a short answer in the midst of a very long session. That's one of the things that Yogi Bhajan said, is that Kundalini Yoga is a simple answer to a lot of issues. Yeah. Just because I have the floor, I will say this. We're going to have a checkout tonight, and I'll say more. But it's such a deep joy. It's such a deep reward to work with you in this kind of a setting. We've been out here for days, eating great food, having great classes, having great morning sadhanas, having great laughs, having great conversations amongst ourselves. It's really, really, really been rewarding. I just want you to know that I feel a tremendous reward from working with you. Sat Nam. May the long-time sunshine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long-time sunshine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Sat Nam. Waheguru. Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I want us to give a huge hand also to Ravi Tej Singh. And also to his son, who goes through every one of these, and he's still in his teens. But specifically, Ravi Tej filmed this entire question and answer, filmed all of the classes, filmed some of the morning sadhana, has a lot of, second camera work of us being crazy and goofy.